Hey guys, what's going on? Mogati here, and I am with Solbash.
What's up, guys?
And we're going to talk about the last three characters here. So this is the part 2 of these rune skills, and the part 1 is on Solbash's channel. So if you're coming here first, make sure to check that out first. I'll put it in the description below. So anyway, we're going to start off with the Fox Mage here, and the Fox Mage's first skill that can have these rune skills is Cyclone. And the first rune is called Frigid. At base value, target's hit will be slowed by 30% for 2 seconds. The slow has a maximum value of 50%, or is that 59%, at max level. And any thoughts on this, Solbash?
For being the very first level, 30%, that is pretty nice. 2 seconds and max value, that's almost 60%, which is double the base. That is huge, especially for a Fox Mage. She's already ranged. I mean, she's going to slow you down that much more again. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I have to agree there. And the second one is Smash. Increased number of enemies affected by Cyclone from 2 to 4 and increases its damage. At max level, this rune boosts the Cyclone's damage by 60%. What about that one?
2 to 4 enemies, I actually did not know it was limited to 2 currently, but max level increasing that much damage, 60%, that's a pretty nice boost just for that one ability.
Yeah, that is also weird because 2, I could have sworn I saw like 10 Sun Wukong clones in one tornado
I have as well.
Yeah, so that's kind of weird, but yeah, whatever. Me personally, if I was a Fox Mage, I might go with the first one still, because the slowdown is also really nice, and it just has to touch them, you know, and they're slowed down like 60%, so it's crazy.
Yeah.
Alright, so moving on to the second one, Doomsday. So these are actually really short. So the first one is called Doppelganger, the first rune, and this just reduces its cooldown. So yeah, I guess you could do it more often. That's rather simple.
That is interesting as well, because that right there is one of the first skills that it's not actually 1 or 2, it's actually their 4th skill.
Yeah, that is interesting, since they say it's just the first and second skill for now, but we have the second and 4th skill here, so that is weird.
Right.
So okay, that one's rather simple, not much to discuss about that, but the next one is interesting. It's called Explosion, and it says significantly increases Doomsday's travel speed and damage dealt. So what do you think about that?
That one there is a bit confusing in itself. I mean, the travel speed, I mean, what are we looking at reducing on whose travel speed? And the damage dealt, is it going to increase it? How much is it going to increase it? I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions there.
Well, I would have to assume travel speed would mean the rate at which the meteors are falling, because they are actually very slow, yeah. So hopefully that would patch that up a little bit.
I do agree, because that has been one of my only complaints about that character, is the fact that their 4th skill has always been one of the slowest out of all the characters combined.
Yeah, pretty easy to outrun it or avoid it altogether.
Exactly.
Alright, so I guess we'll be moving on to the Gunslinger now. Starting with its floating bomb, this can also be enhanced with runes, and the first one is called Assault. Increases the range of floating bomb by 5 meters and increases its auto-target range by 3 meters. Also increases damage dealt by 60% at max level. That's pretty crazy. What do you think?
That is pretty crazy. I'm interested to know what the base of the damage increase would be, but increasing the range of it by 5 meters, and then on top of that, the auto-target range by 3, that's huge, because that skill's up about every 2 to 3 seconds, and it's pretty OP as it is.
Yeah, I mean 60%, that's a crazy skill increase, and yeah, that's already really strong, so I'm not sure if I'd have to even read the second one, because that one just seems too overpowered, but let's go on anyway. So, Rune 2 is called Twister. When this skill is active, any attack will levitate enemies, no matter how much parry break meter they have left. The more damage dealt, the higher the enemy will be levitated. Okay, now I have to think twice. What do you think?
Well, that just blew my mind. I was not expecting that. That's a tough call. I mean, do you want 60% more damage every 2 to 3 seconds, or do you just want to basically become invincible?
Yeah, that's really tough. I mean, that basically means you can just like throw your enemy around whenever the hell you want to. That's crazy. I mean,
but basically it'd be like, I mean, they're parry broken already, so I mean, if you do hit them with the skill, it would knock them up in the air.
Yeah.
That's very, very interesting.
That is really weird. I'll have to see when someone gets that exactly how that works.
Most definitely.
Alright, so moving on to Elemental Blast can also be enhanced. Rune 1 is called Fiery, and it increases the chance to trigger the fire element Elemental Blast to 40% and slows targets hit by 40%. The duration of the buff is also increased to 3 seconds. So, what do you think about that?
That's pretty nice, considering the increased elemental boost by 40% and the slow by 40. You're already hitting them with a ranged attack. It's always almost a constant buff as well. It's only down for maybe 4 to 5 seconds while you're in combat. So yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I would have to agree there. Let's move on to Rune 2 Thunder. Increases the chance to trigger the Thunder element, Elemental Blast to 40%. Increases Gunslinger's speed by 40%. The duration of the buff is also increased to 3 seconds. So basically the same as Fiery except with Thunder, and it gives you a speed boost rather than a slow boost.
That could go very well with the champions. I mean, if you're either actually Neptunes as well, because if you're freezing and or using the slow from the champions, you can get very much well ahead of a character if you're 40% increased on top of that speed.
Yeah, crazy. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's go on to G the Shaman. So, G the Shaman I'm not a huge fan of just because I always run into them in PvP, so... But whatever, let's go on to it. So, Wisdom is one of the skills that can be upgraded right now, and the first rune is called Ruthless. Increases number of enemies affected by skill by 10. Also increases max damage of the skill by 74.55%. This skill now also recovers some lost health. Great. It restores a maximum of 3.9% of lost health at max level. Alright, so what do you think about that?
So that is kind of an insult to what we've already got on the Shaman. Because, I mean, if you can line up more than 10 guys at a time with that little orb of energy and get them in there, kudos to you, you're already doing better than I am on that, okay? And then you're going to increase the damage by almost 75%. That's an insane number. And you're going to recover lost health up to a maximum of almost 4%. Get out of here. That's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, they're already recovering enough health as it is. But
exactly.
Anyway, let's go on to Rune 2 Cleaving. Launches 3 projectiles simultaneously. Each projectile's damage is relatively decreased. Additionally, this skill now restores a significant amount of health. Okay, at max level, this skill restores up to 1.95% of G's lost health. Alright, what do you think about that one?
Okay, so the first one, they're basically just buffing the damage it does in essential. What kind of projectiles, I mean, which way the projectile is going to go from this. It's going to be interesting to see the animation for that and see how it does change.
Yeah, me personally, if I was a shaman, I'd probably still go with the first one since, I mean, the main thing here is actually the health regen, 4% versus 2%, so still probably go with the first one. I suppose, I mean, the 3 projectiles, you won't be able to control them or anything, so it'd be kind of random. I don't know, we'll have to see it.
Exactly.
So, moving on to the last skill here, Akumen on the shaman. Rune 1 is called Chaos. Increases Chaos duration by 5 seconds. Oh man, that is an annoying debuff. Additionally, this skill also reduces damage taken, I suppose, by 35% for 5 seconds. Okay, what do you think?
I get hit by this often in Seabed Scramble, and it is quite annoying. And now they're going to increase it 5 seconds. And additional, it's going to reduce damage I do to you by 35% for the fact that I'm more than likely I'm not going to be able to get to you during those 5 seconds. So it's a win-win situation for the shaman right there.
Yeah, gotta agree. And Rune 2 is called Torture. Slows down enemies in the skills area of effect by 30%. Additionally, buffs team members' damage by 0.5%. This buff can reach maximum number of 15% at max level. Okay, what do you think about this one?
Now that right there, that is awesome for support. You're going to slow down enemies by 30%, and then you're going to turn around, starting out at a small 0.5%, but can grow up to a maximum of 15% of max level for the damage buff. That's pretty nice. Alternating between that and heals, I can see that adding very much to a good outfit for a support shaman.
Yeah, gotta agree there. Well, I guess that about wraps it up for the skills. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below. I am here with Solbash again. If this is the first video you're seeing, make sure to check out part 1 because he has the first 3 there. I am Mogati.
I am Solbash.
Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.